exciting times because I've always loved being a pioneer, a bit like yourself.
Yeah.
And we're not scared to be the first person to do something.
Exactly.
We're
Exactly.
motivated by it.
Yes. Yeah. Imagine being the Wright brothers and going,
Yes.
we're going to fly this thing.
Yeah, exactly. The Wright brothers, and even more so, Nikola Tesla.
Exactly. I'm going to turn this on right now. Is this going to work? Am I going to die?
I know.
Yeah. Imagine having the balls to think of something like that and then doing it and then having it work.
Yeah. Yeah. But one of the biggest things with when you're creative like that is the belief system in it. So if you believe it will work, that is a very important contributing factor, rather than having a plan B in case it doesn't work. Believing in yourself.
Yes, 100%. There's so much weight in that statement. Most people find it uncomfortable to believe in themselves because they never were taught how. Yeah, because it's kind of out of the norm. They don't want you to really believe in yourself, because then you're going to activate some God consciousness in you, and you might start manifesting things left and right, unlike anyone else has ever done. And so they're trying to keep us from learning that, but we're learning it. And people like you are doing it. People like me are doing it. Believing in yourself. What would you say is the most important thing, like for someone who wished they could start to believe in themselves? As weird as that sounds.
The first thing to do is not be scared of making a mistake. Embrace it, because that's where you learn. You don't learn anything from success. You learn everything from failure. So embrace failure, accept that you will make mistakes, but don't make the same mistake twice. Learn from the mistake, and then you'll see yourself grow to a level. And also the other part, don't give a shit what other people think.
100%. That's almost, I see it with a lot of people. It took me a long time to get to a place where I didn't. And I think I had to care a lot before that happened.
Yep, I agree.
I see a lot of people go through it. They struggle. I remember when I first released my first movie on YouTube, and I never knew that people would comment. I didn't expect that there would be something to look forward to. And so there's good and crazy. People will have crazy opinions, and oftentimes people don't even remember what they say to you. So why should you,
Yeah. I remember 2 years ago when I started on YouTube, I read the comments and they were all positive, and I felt my ego going through the roof.
Yeah.
And then I got a negative one. Oh, I felt terrible. I felt absolutely shocking. And then that was the day that I decided that I would never read another comment again. Not one, not positive or negative, but just focus on the truth.
That is gold. Yeah. I'm there now. Yeah. I used to comment back to everything. I was like, this is fantastic. I'm in the world.
Yeah.
And now I can't. I really don't have the time. And also it's just, there's so much love. And of course you just can't fulfill it all. You really want to be there for everyone, but if you can't do it for everyone, don't do it for any, really. Yeah. It's quite a journey.
With that much love out there, you and I have had an awful lot of love. It can go to your head. And that's what I've always wanted not to happen to me, to remain with humility.
Yeah.
The whole way through this. Without, what I don't want to see is what I saw on the television, where these wannabe celebrities believe their own bullshit and believe they're something special. If you look at people in history that were special, Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers, brilliant at dance, at motivating people, but no social media, so you couldn't get close to them. And there was that aura about them. But nowadays, every celebrity you can reach out to, you can touch, you can see the ins and outs of their lives. And there's no mystique there.
Yeah, true. It's gone.
It's gone.
The mystique is gone. And that's part of something that is special that used to be. It is kind of weird. You could go to The Rock's Instagram and see what The Rock was eating for lunch. That's weird.
But if you take, there's one woman in the world that I fell in love with who I never met. And that was Princess Diana.
Mm.
And that mystique, number one, she never got old. We never saw her get old.
Right.
We only saw her as a beautiful young mother.
Right.
That's the last we ever saw of her. That mystique is incredibly special. She also had a naughty side where she was poking the establishment, which appealed to me like you'd never, ever know. To see her poking the establishment, and pointing out their weaknesses, where they were always infallible. You know, they were always above everybody else. That was good. But we're living in an amazing time right now, and we had a get together in London before Christmas of the team. Sadly, Alpa was stateside, so she couldn't come. But the
sadly,
energy,
greatly was with me though.
That's right, exactly right. The energy was incredible. The energy of positive people together. To such an extent, we're doing a tour in the United Kingdom, like the American Patriot Tour. We're going to do a Great Awakening tour in April in the UK. The truckers have started yesterday, coming from Scotland, from Wales, heading down to do the same as they've done in Canada.
Good.
They've raised enough money in Canada that they could actually stay in Ottawa for 4.5 years if they wanted to.
Exactly. They could do that right now. And by the way, I'm going to be at that tour in the UK. I have faith that my ankle monitor won't be in the way. I think it'll be off.
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah. Well, back to what you just said. I saw that they fundraised enough money now to where they could stay posted. What did you say? 4.5 years?
4.5 years. Yeah. And Trudeau can't have COVID for 4.5 years.
No, he can't. What a cop out for him to run away. Oh my gosh, I have C-19. I've got the Rona. I got to go now. Come on, dude.
And you look at whatever her name is, Maddow from CNN, taking a sabbatical, and you take Zucker, who's now lost his job. They're all falling apart now, and they're all coming up with pathetic excuses. But the lovely thing with Nick is you'll be able to find out the truth and do a movie about it. In Zucker's case and Maddow's case, it'll be a comedy.
It would be a perverted comedy.
It will be.
Yeah,
it will be.
Yeah, CNN is crumbling right now. And though, I've been looking into some of these theories, my mind and how I research, and with this Ottawa and in Canada and the convoy and gematria. I had someone come on my show, and just that's a whole nother topic. But there's a wave of people screaming PSYOP, and I'm thinking, well, it's convoy PSYOP. Let's look into this. Yeah, I looked into it, and I see that the main organization that is running this truckers convoy, Freedom Convoy, has a logo that is similar to the 666 logo of CERN. There's a dove on the logo that is red and black, another point to symbolism. Look, I don't know. I'm just out there looking. And so what I'm seeing, though, is this. Here's the dots they're trying to connect. We may be shooting ourselves in the foot by protesting in this session, by limiting goods from coming here and there, to a point where there might be legislation soon where they say, well, we're going to prevent this from ever happening again. So we want Elon Musk's trucks to take all over this industry. And then that's why Elon Musk is out there putting out the truckers rule tweets and donating to some companies or organizations connected to this thing. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. I don't know. Right now, it's too soon to tell, but I always have to keep my finger on the pulse.
I'm going to share something on the screen. Just tell me if this is a coincidence. Ireland's first lockdown was 27th of March 2020, and the restrictions ended on the 22nd of January 2022. That's 666 days.
Bro.
And then the UK's first lockdown was on the 23rd of March. So a different date, and ended on the 19th of January, 2020. 666 days.
WTF, man.
Is that a coincidence?
No. I don't, that word doesn't even exist anymore. Coincidence.
No.
They're coinciding. They're inciting together on purpose.
Exactly. When you start saying those sort of things, it just makes you and I smile, because there's a higher power out there that is trying to wake people up to the truth.
Yeah. It's almost, the topics I had on my last conversation with a sweet dude named Brody. He's just glued to gematria. So like he'll hit, like when he's in bed at night and he's turned and he's texting, his wife doesn't ask who are you. She's not worried about who he's texting. He's just doing gematria because he just can't go to sleep without fulfilling these ideas. So we went through a lot of this whole thing, this whole entire gematria with the Canadian truckers. And it does make you realize after some time how many comparisons and matches and coincidences that there are. There is like a God code.
Yes.
And you and I, we have a code that we've come here to emanate this almost a vibrance.
Yeah.
You're like the holder of the light. You're showing truth. There's a little aspect in all of us that are doing that, but it's unique when you start to, like, I would like to decode your name and see Trump's name and see the matches and the numbers. Mm-hmm. And then you get an essence of what almost your purpose is.
Yeah. Well, that's been done by Tom Sidney Bushnell. Tom Numbers has decoded my name and my numbers and everything else.
Good.
And found it. Yeah, for me, it's fascinating because when the numbers add up and when you start working things out, you just go, you can't make it up. I mean, there's so many things that for us, it's just understanding. That's all. And they've all been hidden from us before. Yeah. Everything's been hidden from us. So to learn what things mean, and it's not just gematria as well, it's understanding code and decode. Yeah. And over the last week, I've been picking out, because obviously at the start of this journey, I was told about this global financial reset. I was told about it 10 years ago and 6 years ago, and then 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. I was told it was going to happen in 2020. And I didn't know the journey. I knew the destination. I just didn't know how it was going to happen. It was to my shock in May, June of 2020 that I found out there was 2 resets in play, a good one and a bad one.
Oh.
The bad one was the New World Order, the Davos crew. That was the bad reset. The Klaus Schwab reset. That was the bad one, the Great Reset. Yeah. And the good one was the quantum financial system, the global financial reset. Very similar terminology to make you think it was the same. And just by the grace of God, I was working on the good one, not the bad one. It wasn't a personal choice. That was God's choice. God had put me on that pathway. And that's why we are where we are right now. But we should never underestimate that we're in a third world war between the good reset and the bad reset. And the bad reset, you can go onto the New World Order's website, and what is happening right now, the collapsing of government worldwide, was planned by the bad guys. So they could usher in their new world government, one world government, as the savior. Well, they didn't realize on the other side, on the good side, you've got Donald Trump, you've got Vladimir Putin, you've got Xi Jinping from China, and you've got Modi from India, and a very, very strong group of people of around 8,000 that we call the White House, that were working on GESARA, and the quantum financial system. And thank God for Operation Looking Glass that we know the outcome.
Right.
Thank God. But it's this process we're in now is the pantomime to wake people up to what could have happened. And yes, there are people out there that are still saying it could still happen if you don't wake up. And that's probably not a bad narrative, because people need to wake up to what could have happened. We came that close to the Great Reset with Klaus Schwab, where we would own nothing. And he says, and we would be happy owning nothing and just let the global elite have all the money, and we would just be their slaves. And if we didn't have our jabs, they would simply turn us off. They would end our lives. They'd take our houses away, or our business away, or our car away. We had to conform. And most of the people in America, they didn't want. Most of the people in Europe, they didn't want. Most of the people in the UK, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, they didn't want. They wanted the 5% population generally to come from China, because they're used to taking orders and doing as they're told and not questioning them. And they're hard workers. That was perfect for the New World Order. And when the penny drops with the people from the Western world that this is what their plan was, there will be a massive rebellion against the deep state, the cabal. And for those people who've only just come to the truth, you could do a lot worse than to watch The Fall of the Cabal by Janet Ozenbard, who's documented things in 20, if not 21 now, different short videos that summarizes the fall of the cabal, the taking down of the deep state, the cabal, and everything that's evil that's linked with it. We're in a war between good and evil, but that's a great starting point for those who started. Yeah.
You haven't watched Follow the Cabal, you got to. I call her Grandma Red Pill.
Exactly.
Yeah, she's all up on goodlion.tv. You can watch it free there. There's 2 seasons, and the second one, I believe, is the number you're at. I think she's at like 21 episodes.
Yeah.
She's just so thorough. That's she's the most thorough. You're not going to go there and get like Good Lion Film cinematic, woo, sound effects and shit. You're going to get like straight to the point. You're in a university type of presentation. Take notes.
She's a former school teacher, and it shows.
Yeah, exactly. And her voice is so soothing, and
she's adorable. She's a wonderful human being.
She is. Yeah, I want to get her on my show. I've met her a couple times. She inspired me. Like, I wouldn't have been doing anything if it wasn't for her movies, her documentaries. Janet, where she lives? Is she in Spain or?
Yeah, she's just down the road.
Get out of town. I gotta go to Spain like tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what inspired her to finally go, man, this is it. I got to do something.
She's very much a typical woman who, if it looks like shit and smells like shit, it's probably shit. In very simple terms. It didn't add up to her. And she just went, right, somebody needs to do something, and that somebody is me.
Yeah.
She wasn't looking for anybody else. She just went, this is not right. I need to do something about it. And that's pretty much what I did as well, and what you've done as well, and what virtually everybody on this journey has done. They've felt a sense of responsibility that God put us on this earth for a purpose. And when you find your purpose in life, then you become fulfilled.
Yeah. Facts.
Or if you turn it around, filled full.
Wow. I like that. Filled to the fullest.
Exactly right.
Yeah. That's how, it's a journey, and then you keep doing what you're being called to do, and then you keep getting fulfilled. And even in the fulfillment, there's struggle, there's stress, there's goals and achievement, and even failures. And I love that you brought up failures earlier, because some of the latest failures I've had, I'm able to look at with complete honor. Like, thank you. Now I know what to never do again. Mm-hmm. And some people learn watching other people fail. And that's even better. If you can learn watching other people fail, then you're not going to, get the experience of that. But
when you do make a mistake, the power The power that you have by saying sorry and owning it and just saying, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. The power that it gives you is a power like nothing on earth. And I'll give you an example with Justin, our little boy. If he's been naughty and he just turns around and says, sorry, Daddy, I can't say anything else. Taking the wind right out of my sails.
It's true.
I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I'm ever so sorry. I won't do it again. That's all you ever want to hear. And it's over. For me, it's over then. My wife will remember things. She's tiny, but she's a bit like an elephant. She'll remember for the rest of her life. But I don't. Once it's over, it's dealt with. It's gone. It's clear.
Right. Yeah. Would you say that has been one of the biggest, and if not, what is contributors to your success?
I think it very much is that I can forgive and forget very, very quickly.
Right? Yeah, because some people will hold a vendetta and a grudge, and it'll be their fuel every morning to do something towards that, and that's just living for something else.
That's not real forgiveness either. That's just fake forgiveness. If you only forgive it for their benefit, you don't do it for your own benefit. You forgive for your own benefit.
Yeah,
so that you can grow out of it. So you can gain. If you hold on to it, you're going nowhere.
If you're holding on, you're not giving forth.
Sure.
And to forgive is to give forth to God, give forth to something else other than you.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah.
Exactly. No. Yeah. There's no point holding a grudge because you're wasting valuable energy.
Yeah.
And you need all the energy you've got for good things, for positive.
Yeah.
Do something positive. And there's a lot of positive things to do in the next 10 years. As we re-educate the planet, as we help those that are less fortunate than us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you need all of your energy. You don't need to be wasting energy on negative things that bring you down.
100%. That's the whole balance right now with, at some point, the films I'm going to make aren't exactly going to be calling out people and exposing, because I think we'll have built enough films and exercises for people to get it, to be able to handle that. At some point, it's going to be more healing, more guidance towards self-fulfillment, reaching a place within yourself to where what happens outside in the world wouldn't even have an effect on your inner world. There's a few movies. One movie, The Way, that I'll be working on with Alpa and Katie, some great people. Katie's an author who wrote a book called The Way, and it's kind of like The Secret, but revamped and more applied to today. I'm looking forward to that. But for example, like the last movie, I just finished Mother Teresa's Purbywood. I finished that like an hour ago, and it took a week to do. Yeah, that one was, the thing is, these are heavy to make. They're heavy to make. And for me, I think I'm just building a tolerance. But man, most people don't know about Mother Teresa and how much criticism there is around her entire operation. All the money that she was accepting from very, very rich people. She was the Vatican Bank's biggest client. If she had made a substantial withdrawal, the bank could have gone into default. That's how much. Yeah. And then on top of that, the Vatican kept her diary after she died, and everyone wanted to read it. And then they didn't get to for up until, I think, 15 years later after she died. And when they read the diary, they saw that she had lost faith in God for over 30 years.
Wow.
She was going around preaching and not practicing. I mean, maybe she was practicing, but she wasn't feeling the fulfillment from a relationship with God. Why? Because she was working for the devil. That's basically my thesis in the movie. And it shows exactly like, why is she accepting millions from Robert Maxwell?
Yeah.
And I think it's Charles Keating. Is that his name? The fraud guy who went to jail for. Yeah.
Oh, not Clarence Madoff.
No, another guy. Keating is his last name.
Okay.
She rubbed shoulders with Hillary Clinton. They opened up a child's care center in DC. When you know about what Hillary Clinton does with children, it makes you really question what the heck is going on there. And then the most shocking, I think, is this is one of the most shocking things I think in the movie is Mother Teresa is looked at as a spiritual figure for so many people. So many people look at her as an advisor or influence. So who's her advisor? Who's Mother Teresa's influence?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a guy named, I think it's Donald McGuire. And he is a well-known pedophile. He went to jail for it. He molested a young boy. And I think it was 1,000 times. The young boy finally came out as an adult. And yeah, it just shocks me that Mother Teresa would even, in the midst of him going through trial, she writes a note asking for him to come out and finish his ministry. Like, come on. She wasn't even hiding it.
You know, it's interesting. I've just suddenly thought of something. Mother Teresa died at the same time as Princess Diana.
It's a fact.
It's almost like God wanted to cover up her death and not make anything of it, and hence Princess Diana.
Yeah, was it?
Same time. It was just within a day, I think.
Wasn't it like the next day? Yeah.
Next day, yeah. It was the next day.
Good memory. I crossed that in the research.
Yeah.
It's very weird, right? And to be around during that time, I was too young to really even understand, but which one was first? I think it was Diana first and then Teresa.
Yeah, I think it was. It was one day apart.
That is so crazy because they're both on that level.
Mm-hmm.
Although,
we thought they were.
Diana's on that level. Teresa's not.
Yeah.
Teresa's not even her or his name. Some people speculate maybe he's a man, maybe he's Fauci's father. And that's the thing I did in this movie was I made a correlation between Teresa and Fauci.
Yes.
Because they have a cult of suffering.
Yeah.
Teresa she'd hurt herself. She basically created a cult of suffering by believing that through suffering, you're closer to God. And that's kind of like a Catholic thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that's right at all. But anyway, Fauci, same thing. Look at what he's doing. Everyone sees what he's doing. So then when you look at how they look similar, and the family ties, Fauci comes from the Abyss family. The Abyss family's main logo is a snake eating a baby. Teresa works for the Vatican. The Vatican has St. Paul's Visitor Center, which is the head of a snake with not one cross in that entire audience hall, and more like satanic imagery. Mm-hmm. Reptilian. It's, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is with that type of person or entity. What is it with the reptilian?
Yeah.
What is it with reptilians? I don't get it.
No. Well, they're a different breed. They have, and you know, David Icke, God bless him, was pointing this out 35 years ago.
I know, right? Did you see the Arizona Wilder interview that he did?
No.
He interviews a woman, Arizona Wilder, who participated in satanic rituals. Yeah. And with the establishment, the queen, and so she just reports on everything she experienced, and she goes into some heavy duty detail to the point of like saying when they smell blood, that's when they lose their form and they shapeshift, and they turn into these reptilian and they can't help themselves. They wear robes because if they were wearing clothes, the clothes would all rip. They get like a snout almost. Yeah. Now, for the regular Joe who still believes in Santa Claus, if they see that, their brain's going to short circuit.
Yeah.
Do you think there's ever going to come a time where that kind of exposure to the innocent may happen?
Well, I asked that very same question, Nick, over a year ago. And I asked what percentage of that stuff would come out to the public. And they said the public will never be ready for more than 10% of it.
Oh, yeah.
10% of the truth. And I would have to agree because there are certain things that I investigated that I wish I hadn't.
Oh.
And that is one of them. And the deep underground military bases and the children was another. I was very keen at the start to go down those rabbit holes, and the effect of going down the rabbit holes with the children was disgusting and horrible.
Yeah.
The child trafficking was horrible, but also the reptilian side and what you've just talked about, I found so disgusting. And I've interviewed people that I can't publish who've actually been in the presence of it. So told me firsthand, not secondhand, firsthand. 2 people who've been and seen what happened have left and have been ostracized because they left.
It's heavy.
Yeah, seriously heavy. And you can even tell when talking to them in their eyes that they're telling the truth, because you can see the pain.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
You'd never believe that kind of evil exists on this realm.
No.
Ever. My friend came over earlier and he was telling me how when his mom, sometimes she gets off her meds, and when she does, she can start saying things that to some people might seem completely random, but to those who know some shit are almost like she's just picking up on the suffering around her. So for example, Hawaii, Maui. Maui's got some heavy shit going on underground.
Big stuff.
They got submarine access going in. Ghislaine Maxwell was a submarine pilot. Connect the dots, you know?
Yeah.
And so when my friend's mom was in Maui, she was having one of these episodes and she couldn't stop screaming about the children. And this wasn't even recently. This was before we could even like share dialogue about saving the children. And she just said, there's so many children suffering here and it's underneath. Yeah. And now when you think about it, and it's like there is Sully, Sully, is the main lawyer in Maui for he's basically a Jeffrey Epstein on this island. Him and his son are both lawyers, and when the rabbit hole, when you go down it, fortunately and unfortunately for me, I was kind of drugged through it because of what I experienced in Maui. I went to someone's house who I thought was a friend, turned into this Navy SEAL guy. Was actually, I think he was a possessed pedophile. I had ended up running away. But in that process, I had people reach out and provide me with research on who to look out for in Maui. And that's what it came up. They've got underground bases that are no longer used there for the purposes that they were created, and they're being used for different purposes. And that shit's going on almost everywhere.
It is. It's sick.
That's what created Force, the 8,000 white hats.
Yeah.
That's what created a lot of the positive Batman force that's out there.
Yeah. And
do you think this year is going to be one of the biggest years that we see signs and evidence of the help that we've got on our side?
Well, we've moved away from the year of the ox in the Chinese calendar, which is the land synonymous with preparation of the land. And as of yesterday, we moved into the year of the tiger.
That was yesterday?
Yeah.
Amazing.
So we're now into a water tiger, which is synonymous with speed and power. And we're already starting to see things happening. We're seeing the director of CNN step down. We're seeing frontline journalists step down. We're seeing the convoy. We're seeing the collapse of governments. We're seeing the whole COVID narrative fall apart. We're seeing that all the statistics that have been published by the FDA and the CDC all came from Dominion. We're seeing all of this stuff literally, and we're seeing that the election in 2020 was a fraud. We're seeing it, and it's now we're at a stage where they're basically, the good guys are just tormenting the bad guys and waiting for them to literally hold their hands up. But we're dealing with such arrogance. They're still in denial, but the evidence is mounting and mounting and mounting. And one thing for the last 2 years that's become very obvious is they're not going to take them down. They're going to let them take themselves down.
Wow.
They're going to let them do it all by themselves.
Yeah. I'm loving it. I'm loving seeing George Soros cry, trying to get the world to fear China right now.
Exactly. What an evil piece of work.
Yeah. Sit down, George. He sounds like he's about to die like yesterday.
Yeah.
How is he even speaking still?
Well, well, how's his body double speaking? I would suggest.
Yeah, exactly.
Or clone.
There was a Q post that mentioned, what if all these large powers of the world were actually working against the deep state? And you've named them all: Russia, China.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they are.
It's happening. It's happening. There are some people who really don't believe it, and I look forward to being around in the time where we can all celebrate and get through the PTSD together.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Well, Nick, it's always good to catch up with you.
Always great.
Keep up the good work. You're doing amazing work.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you so much. It's always great coming on.
It is. Have a good week, and we'll catch up again very, very soon.
All righty.